What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Guru951. Welcome aboard. Here to give you a pretty lengthy tutorial, hopefully not too long. I'll try to sum it up as best as I can, as I always do, and try to make it as simple as possible. Okay? But let's just try to do this in one nice fell swoop. We're going to cover a few things here. For one, we're going to cover star classifications. I will make that brief. It will be very helpful, first and foremost, if you bring up the Elite Dangerous Wiki and look up star classifications in the Elite Dangerous Wiki. Just Google it. Elite Dangerous Wiki, star classifications. Get yourself real familiar with that. We will be covering that. Second, we will be covering a little more advanced navigation tips than what I find in a lot of the tutorials. And quite honestly, there is a tip I'm going to be giving you in this that, quite frankly, I've never seen anybody give. And I think it is an absolutely crucial factor to cover that. Okay, and maybe hopefully some people know about it. Actually, I know some people know about this thing. It's just not very well spoken of. Okay, for whatever reason, whether it's just because there's not a lot of people speaking about it, they're trying to keep it under wraps, or there's just not a lot of people in the public, in the social scene of Elite Dangerous, to give out this tip as an explorer. Okay. So we're going to get to star classifications, we're going to get into a little more advanced navigation, and then we're going to get into how to explore with a little more intention. And by intention, I mean you have the exact idea of what you want to go out and find, and you're going to go out and you're going to find it. And when you do find it, you're going to learn how to find even more of it. Okay? There's always something bigger and better than what you found before out there, I promise you. Alright, and what do I mean by all this? Advanced navigation? What the heck are you talking about? Finding more? I don't get it. Okay. Well, first off, let's bring up our galaxy map. This is just going to be a real basic tutorial. Kind of. No cinematic masterpiece on this, and I left that for the last video. If you haven't seen it, you should go see it. It is called The Impossible. Okay, so what are we looking at here? We're looking at the galaxy map, and I'm looking in realistic map mode. Okay, I look for a lot of neutrons, white dwarfs, and black holes. In regular map mode, it is very easy to spot white dwarfs and neutrons. Now, neutrons and black holes look just like this. They look exactly the same. So for me, if I'm looking for black holes, which primarily most of the time when I'm out here I am, I'm going to use this filter, and you will see black holes stick out very well in the regular map. However, if you switch to regular map, it doesn't stand out very well because these are all neutrons, no doubt, most of them are. However, in realistic mode, black holes are very easily identifiable. Okay, this is very important. Listen up. Now, up here in the top left, this is your system information tab. The four little lines. Click that, and then hover your mouse over any star in the galaxy. Whether you've been there, you haven't been there, it's all the way on the opposite side or right in front of you, it does not matter. Okay? Now what does it say up here? A lot of people don't understand that this actually is a function of the galaxy map. It took me a long time to realize that every time I do this, it is telling me exactly what stars are in there. There may be some missing. Sometimes it does not pick up the class Y stars. Sometimes it does not pick up class L stars. If they're really small, dim, dwarf stars, sometimes they will not register in there, and you have to go in there and scan them to find them yourselves. But honestly, who's looking for stars like that anyways? We're looking for the big, bright, and shinies, am I right? So with this one, I know it says that there's a black hole and neutron. Okay. Over here, I know this says it's a G and an M. Now, what does this mean right here? G1. This one is a spectral rating. 0 would be the brightest spectrum, and 9 would be the dimmest. So brightest would probably also be the hottest variation, and 9 would be the coldest and dimmest variation. So this is a G1. This is a pretty bright star. Here, in VB, is your luminosity rating. Okay, this is going to be followed by a Roman numeral. VB would mean your basic average type of star, your main sequence type star. Okay. Now let's get into reading a little further, looking at this map especially. Now, do you notice anything standing out here that is different than the others? Do you notice anything that's different than the others? You notice how big this star is? That is because that is a mid-spectral brightness M4 supergiant. Actually, this would be just considered a regular giant, quite honestly. The Roman numeral 1, 2, and 3 indicate that this is a giant. B means it is a main sequence star. You can refuel off that because it is a class M. Okay. Now, a Roman numeral 1 here, where it says 1, 2, 3B, if it was a Roman numeral 1B, that would be a hypergiant or extremely luminous giant. Okay. If it's a Roman numeral 2, it means it is a bright giant. If it is a Roman numeral 3, it means it is a regular giant. If it is a Roman numeral 4, that is a subgiant. And just a regular old V afterwards, meaning it is a main sequence star, meaning you can refuel off of them. The O, B, A, F, G, K, and M, or KGB foam, refuelable stars, main sequence. Okay? So very important to know how to identify. Get yourself real familiar with Elite Wiki stars classifications. It'll serve you a whole bunch of help, let me tell you. Second of all is this. When you're in the core and you are looking for black holes, such as I am, or if I'm looking for neutrons, I'm going to go through, and mind you, I already have all these bookmarked, and we are going to go and just look at them. We got a neutron star here. We got a K-class, a very bright K-class star, and we have a white dwarf in there. Okay, now let's look at this system name here. EOC FlyUA AQ-P E5-50. Now, what does that tell you here? What does that tell you here? EOC FlyUA is the sector we are in. So every system in this sector will have this as at the beginning of its name, unless it's some procedure generated thing, such as a HIP system or an HD system or something like that, or some other variation. You do find weird system names far, far out in the black sometimes that don't go with the norm. However, for the most part, we will say every single system in here will start with that, EOC FlyUA. Every sector you go to, that will change based on the sector you're in. What is this three-letter code? This three-letter code, there are a ton of variations, and it's very good to get yourself familiar with them. Start memorizing them. Start finding ones that you're finding interesting things in, and then start writing those down. Okay, I myself am very familiar with EG-Y, FG-Y, AA-A, BA-A, CA-A, and the list goes on and on. You can Google it, or you can just do your own research and pay attention to what these three-letter codes are, because you will be using them in the future. Next thing you have is E5. What does E5 mean? E is your mass code. A would be your smallest mass. These are your brown dwarf stars. These are your dwarf ice, dim, cold, small, basically junk stars. And as it goes up through H, A through H, H being your biggest mass. So if you're finding a system that has 6 black holes in it, it's probably an H mass. So if you find a ring neutron, it is probably an H mass. Okay, the three-letter code is not super relevant. It's really all about that mass code. At E, F, G, and H, you're dealing with some very big mass, and you will deal with some very bizarre systems. As a result of that, the systems get so big, and they just get really weird. Okay, and you start containing strange things in them, such as a neutron, or a black hole, a white dwarf, and a neutron star, and all the things that come along with systems like that, because it does bizarre things to the world of physics. Okay, so every time you look at that black hole, neutron star, white dwarf, neutron star. Now, let's look at this system we're in now. If you saw the video and you know what this is this system from the last video was the impossible. Okay, now let's look at this right here. This is the key thing that I'm going to tell you that I've never seen any other exploration video or tutorial teach you. Notice it's got EOC fly away AQ-P E5-2798. This 2798. Now, in the situations where there's a, say, for instance, this situation E5-2798, I can't tell you what the 5 dash means. I don't know if this is some sort of thing on mass, if this is something telling me that, if it's telling me something, I'm not sure what it's telling me, okay? But I can tell you this. And if you do know what that dash is for and why it carries a second number, please let me know. But watch this. This is the trick I'm going to show you that nobody else has ever taught me, or taught in the other videos I've ever seen. It's something I discovered a little bit on accident, a little bit through some coaching. Okay, the very last number here is what I call this series number, 2798. Now we're going to take the entire system name, and we're going to punch it into there, but we're going to leave out the 2798. If this did not have a dash and it just said E2798, I would just put E, and then I would leave the end blank. And then what we're going to do is this feature right here. We're going to hit search. Now where does it bring us to? It brings us to EOC fly away AQ-P E5-0. And what is that? That is a neutron star. Now we know that from the bookmark, what we were just looking at, I'm looking for another close match to the impossible. Sorry. Okay, so I'm looking for a close match to that. So look at this. Black hole, white dwarf, class K2 star in that system, right? So all I got to do, once again, sorry, a little skip there. We go there and we are now at E5-0. Now, here's the big kicker that no tutorial teaches you. What is that doing? That's bringing us to E5-1, which we can see in there is a neutron star. Let's hit it again. Once again, neutron star, class M in that system. Wait, no. I had the wrong system picked there. There's a neutron star. Now let's hit it again. Mind you, this thing goes well over 2,000. This is 3 class Bs. What is that behind? There's a black hole sitting behind it. Black hole neutron star. Let's hit it again. Looks like another thing of class Bs, maybe? B, A, and F. All very bright. All main sequence stars. B, O, A, O. F0, sorry, 0, 0. Very bright. You keep on hitting it, and what is it doing? It's just dragging us through the series. This is how you get yourself to find more of what you're looking for in these instances. Neutron M2, we're now at E5-6. And you can just go through these things all day, and one day, at some point, I guarantee you, we are going to find another matching system to what we have at the Impossibles, which was a neutron, or sorry, black hole, a white dwarf, and a class M. This is a sort of template that not many people are aware of, how the galaxy's made. Now, there's another class B, that looks like class B supergiant. Let's see. It is class B. Actually, just regular giant. AB. You get yourself real familiar with those star classifications on Elite Wiki. Neutron, neutron, white dwarf, class M. Now, let's bookmark that one. Now you see what's going on. I'm just working my way through this series and finding bizarre system setups. What's this? Black hole, white dwarf. No class M, but there's a white dwarf in there. I know that because if you see DCO or D star or anything DV, DVA, DA, these are white dwarfs. Okay. If you see W, that means it's a Wolf Rayet star, which will typically be found in H-mass systems. Alright, so you see what I'm doing here. Now, let's move on with the next thing. Now, I'm just going to tell you now, you can go into a system, and you will see just numbers into the thousands. That means that when that system was created, it was created with at least that many more systems behind it, or in front of it. And then there may be a higher number past the one you found. So maybe it is 2,000, but it could go up to 3 possibly, or even higher. Who knows? It's up to you to go through the series. Now, the good thing is these are all in the same general neighborhood. I don't really have to go far to go find this sort of stuff. I can just sit here. Oh, yeah, definitely. No, I've been there. Okay. Alright, so you get in the gist of what I'm saying there. Now, let's get a little more advanced here and cover another thing. Because I do feel like I probably covered that pretty well. I don't need to jump in those systems to show you guys what's in those things. I'm just going to tell you that if I do it enough times, I'm probably going to repeat something like this. That is the goal at the moment, is to find something like this or even better this time, okay? So if you see me actually do it, you know how I did it now, okay? Now, let's cover one more thing. Now, you're probably wondering, is there an easier way to locating these things than just looking at the galaxy map and scouring around? Yes. Yes, there is. 100%. And let me tell you how it's done. Watch this. We're just going to pick some system out here. This sector, I should say, sorry. Which is... Now, this is where it comes handy to know your 3-letter codes. Brer AAE. Because this is where you're going to experiment with 3-letter codes. I'm very familiar with FGY, and I can follow it up with any mass I'm looking for. Personally, I like E through H, but I'm especially fond of G mass. Right? Now let's put in AA-A, G mass. And what is it? It's a class K2 star in a GMASS system. Let me tell you right now, that thing is probably huge. I can only imagine it has an immense amount of gas giants in there, or an immense amount of landables and ring gas giants in there. I have no doubt about it. Class B star, class G0, or not, sorry, G0. Look at that, black hole. Let's try some different 3-letter codes. Let's try EG-Y. What is it? It's a black hole. And a class B. Let's try a different mass. Let's throw E mass on there. Now, neutrons begin, from what I understand, neutrons begin at D mass. You won't really find them at C mass, and you rarely will find them at H mass. And usually if you find an H mass neutron, that means there's a good chance that it is a let's go to EGY-H, that it is a ring neutron, because that's all the ring neutrons so far have been in H mass systems. It's a class O, very bright class O, and there's only one EG-H. There is not a series of it. That's it, just H0. That's it. But if you go into GMASS, there's more than one. As you see there. So this is what I mean by getting familiar with your 3-letter codes. Started noticing it's throwing protostars at us in this GMASS. Oh, there's another black hole. Black hole in class A, very bright class A with an A0. That looks like it's probably an O class and a B class. You see what I'm getting at here? So, to point yourself in the proper direction, learn to identify supergiants. Clear that out. Okay, learn to identify supergiants. Learn to understand star types. M5, what is that telling you? That is a mid-spectral. M5, if it was a bright spectral class, it would be M0. If it was a dim spectral class, it would be M9, and if it's in between, it's in between. There's another one. You just got to get yourself real familiar with these things. M2, that's a very bright star. Now let's pop into one last sector, and then I'm going to cover one more thing, which I said in one of my previous videos I would have covered, and I'll make that very brief. I hope this has been very clear to some of you guys. Understand what star types are, how to read them. They're very easy. I promise you they are very easy. Just going to take a little bit of reading, not very much. And understand different variations on 3-letter codes. Let's just pick another sector. Pick one more sector. Okay. Based AZ. Actually, let's go to let's try CA-A. Let's try EMASS. Okay, it's dragging us to, looks like a neutron or a white dwarf. It's a neutron and a white dwarf. Let's try FMASS. Sometimes you will not find a series in a system, you'll just find one system in it. But many times with the right codes, and you will figure out what these codes are, you'll find more than that. Now let's try HMASS. Does it have an HMASS? CA-A, HMASS. It does not. But I bet it has a BA HMASS. It does not. Let's try A. Probably in a nebula, I would bet. We're close to. Now, the thing about the AA-A is a lot of people are very aware of this code and they understand this thing. So let me tell you how it goes. If I'm going to start an expedition on my own, I'm going to start some long trip. I'm going to pick some spot about 1,000 light years ahead of me, and then I'm going to find some cool star out there. I'm going to try, and then I'm going to search around that. I'm going to go into there, search that, and then just to kill some time and you know, mix things up for that 1,000 light years, I will then go search around a little bit. Maybe a couple more systems. Then I'll plot another 1,000 light years to a star that I have predetermined that I want to go to because I've looked at the map, I've looked at the sector ahead of me, I tried my 3-letter codes, I tried different masses, and there it is. Now, once I find the sector, just like I demonstrated earlier, I'm then going to go and just start working through this series and bookmarking everything that seems like it's going to be something of my interest. Usually, if I find something epic, I'm trying to find the same sort of star makeup inside, but sometimes that doesn't really matter, and you can still find some very, very similar systems to it. It is a template, sadly, but it is a template, and it is the way the game works. Okay? Now, let me cover one last thing here. I think that we've covered that pretty well. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying there. I don't really feel like I need to jump into systems to show you. I can just tell you that I have plenty of evidence that I toss around freely all the time to prove that it is actually working. And let me assure you right now, commanders, there are other commanders who know about this. Please, also, if you have any tips for me, let me know. Okay, let's go over one last thing real quick, and this had to be about orbital periods. I wanted to explain orbital periods to you and their play on volcanism now to identify when a planet will be or will not be volcanic. Okay, let me go to here. I will go to let's go to, sorry to slow this down. We'll go to my Cyanif. That's where I found brain trees the first time. Let me explain to you how this works, my friends. How to identify volcanism on a planet in a system, okay? Let's look at here. Probably not the best candidate for this tutorial, but however, we're going to make it work. All right. Volcanism depends on orbital periods, and orbital periods cause something called tidal heating. The faster a body orbits its parent, the more heat that's generated in the core, and as a result, it will come out of the surface of the core. Okay, and it'll cause it to be all lumpy and all this sort of thing. Low orbital periods, meaning under a day, will create little potato moons for the most part. Okay, so what is the proper orbital period? Well, I can tell you this much. If it's on a main star, the orbital period can go up to about 20 days, and you will still get some volcanism. Now, I would say that if you're looking to actually find volcanic activity, not that it's going to matter once we get these probes, because we'll just be launching them at planets like, it's just going to be crazy how much stuff we're about to be finding. around a main star, it can be pretty flexible. I've seen it up to 20 days, maybe a little bit higher than that, and it would still have volcanism. Now, when you're orbiting around a gas giant or around say, like if this was a Class Y star or a Class L or something like that, these are dwarfs, you need an orbital period under 1.6 days. There are 3 grades of volcanism. I personally play on PC. I use a program called ED Discovery, and it tells me whether it's major volcanism, standard volcanism, or minor volcanism. Major volcanism happens at about 0.1 day orbital period, all the way up to about 0.5, 0.6, I would say. In between that, you would have your standard volcanism, and at about, once you get to about 1.1 days or higher, you're moving into your minor volcanism. And the reason that's important is because with minor volcanism, you can find nothing. It's almost sure of it. Standard, there's still a sure chance you're not going to find nothing. And even with major, there's not definitely not a sure chance as we play the game at the moment. But there is still a pretty high chance you're going to find something volcanic on that planet, or organic at that, if it has the right surface temperatures, which I'm sure you've probably seen some of my videos before to explain how that works. So, to capture all that, if it's around a big main star, you need an orbital period of under 20 days, roughly. And if it is around a gas giant or a dwarf star, this thing would need to be very small, 0.7 days, silicate vapor geysers. Look at this here. Orbital period 1.4 days, and it did have volcanism. Let's look over here. Water geysers, and it has a 0. Where is it at? What did I lose that? 0.9 day orbital period. Let's look at these ones here. Look at this. No volcanism. Why is that? 13.1 day orbital period. Look at that one. 1.5 day orbital period. This is right on the verge of having it and not having it. It's got it. Also volcanic with the proper surface temperatures. By the way, I did find brain trees on this planet. Now, you move into this one, 3.5 day orbital period, no volcanism, because it can't generate the tidal heating that needs to be said, needs to happen. So, when you're looking at planets, remember, keep it under 20 days, and you'll probably find volcanism. Keep it under 1 to 1.5 days on these, and you'll find volcanism. And you can just tell that just from honking a system. You don't even need to go up and detailed surface scan that thing or anything like that. You honk this system and it tells you the orbital period just by hovering over and looking at that. But in the top left of your screen, looking at the lines there. No volcanism in this whole system here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that tutorial has been helpful. I hope it will help you become better explorers. I'm sure it will. Remember, learn your star classifications, learn variations of the 3-letter codes, experiment in different sectors by punching all those things in. Understand that A mass is a small, dim, cold junk mass, basically is what I call it, and H mass is the bright and shinies, and E, F, G, and H hold the really, really strange things the galaxy has. One last note. My navigation has never, ever, ever navigated me through a G or H mass naturally. I had to go and find those G and H mass and navigate myself to them. Your navigation, from what I can tell, will never navigate you through those things. Why is that? Is that a limitation on our computer, or is there something hiding in those systems and they make us go out and search those things by hand? Now you know, my friends, you have the tools, you are armed. Please send me pictures, tell me tales, send me videos, whatever you got. Twitter me, Instagram me, whatever you can in the forums. If you find anything as a result of this video or my past videos, I love, 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 love seeing those things, and I'm really excited to see what else people can find. Okay? Now, if you look at all these bookmarks around here, a vast number of these new bookmarks are based, especially all these ones here, are based out of that one series of the this right here, AQ-P E5. 2,798 systems in this series, and I haven't even checked to see if there's higher yet. I've just been going through, bookmarking as many of them as I can, and sure enough, I will find something epic, 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 and I hope you do too, my friends. That is what is going on here? Oh, that's strange, isn't it? Oh, that was a weird... Oh, that tripped me the heck out. Oh, that's a great note to end on, guys. Ladies and gents, I wish you the absolute very best out there. I hope you find everything you can imagine, because let me tell you right now, if you can imagine it, it probably exists in this game. And this galaxy is a beautiful place, and it will fulfill your dreams, I promise you. Thank you all for listening. I hope this has been a very helpful tutorial for you all. I hope it's something different that nobody else has covered. And good luck. Fly safe, Commanders. Ciao.